Hey everyone, Dr. Frunke here with an awesome new knife consult for you on the CMF Metalworks Daedalus. This will be the fourth video that I've made on a CMF knife or product. You can go back and check out the first video I made on the Crusade, and then I made a video on this guy. This is my Damascus scalpel dashi that I bought from Ian at CMF Metalworks. Then he sent me the CMF 16 collaboration piece with Rob Carter that he had for Blade Show auction. That was really, really cool. And now I have this knife. This is the Daedalus. This is the new model that he's offering that is the result of some customer requests to make a smaller, a bit more carry-friendly model. Ian is known for making big, bold knives, and they're heavy. If you go back and see those other two knives, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this is a little bit more slimmed down, and so we're going to go ahead and take a look at what the Daedalus has to offer. I should just go ahead and comment that the name is Daedalus. Daedalus is a Greek figure that was known for creating the labyrinth that housed the Minotaur, but then he's also associated with creating the wings that Icarus so fatefully lost and then fell to his death. So it's an interesting name. It's a cool name. The word is cool, but it has some sort of interesting connotations to it. So not sure what to make of that. That's neither heads nor tails, but just that's what the name means to me. Anyways, let's go ahead and get some vital signs on the Daedalus here. We are going to have up front a 3.5-inch blade of CTS XHP steel. It is 8 inches on the dot overall with a 4.5-inch handle. If you include the forward grip area right there, you're getting almost 5.1 inches of grip space right there. The blade stock is coming in very thick right here at 191 thousandths, so quite thick on the blade stock right there. And the handle thickness is coming in at 564 thousandths. I don't want to press hard on that at all. So let's go ahead and bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison. This knife slots right between the Spyderco Para 3 right here and the Paramilitary 2. So you can see if I line these guys all up, the blade is as big as the Paramilitary 2, but the handle is as small as the Para 3 just about. So it's a nice blade to handle ratio. I really appreciate the way that he executed this knife. I'll bring out another couple of high-end knives right here. Here is a Koenig Knives Arius, for those of you that are familiar with that size right there. And then how about we bring out a Shirogorov Knives F3 for a size comparison. So that's a 4-inch blade. This is another 3.5-inch blade, but look how tightly and compactly he's created that handle right there. I really appreciate a nice blade to handle ratio on that. So let's break this guy down anatomically. Up front is that blade done in XHP steel, I believe, and it's done in this compound, recurve, tanto, swedgy, aggressive hollow grind thing. It's really, really nicely done. He does a beautiful hollow, and then he's got that edge geometry out there that's essentially a zero grind out to the tip. Very aggressive edge at the bottom here. It's not an even bevel, but it's an artistic thing that's really cool looking. Look at the edge bevel and how wide it is here, and it thins out towards this tip. It's just a cool effect. He's mirrored it on both sides. It's just a very nicely done thing. I will say that some people gave Ian some grief when I made the Crusade video because his grinds are all done freehand without the use of a jig. And so I showed that his grinds were a bit uneven, but now take a look at this. It is perfectly evenly done. This is all done freehand. Check out the tip geometry right there. Very nicely done, very matching grinds, totally done freehand, so I have to respect that very much. Now, that first knife I showed you was Ian's third folder. He's made over 100 knives right now, and he's gotten so good at making these things. One little thing I'll mention, this is totally a personal taste thing, but there's a large area of flat on his knives. This was also present on the Crusade, and I will say I just feel like this needs... we got to figure out something to do with this space. This is unused real estate right here on a high-priced item right there. So I think we could figure something out for that space. It's done in a horizontal satin, and this is left with the belt finish on the hollow grinds here. This is a work in progress. This is not really what the knife is going to look like finished, but Ian wanted to send it to Josh for some thoughts and some planning. And so I really appreciate both of them letting me check this out. I appreciate the forward finger choil on this guy. It really allows you to choke up nicely and get a very nice grip on there for some finer work. You can use that interesting Tanto tip in some nice ways if you wanted to right there. Let's move back to the pivot. This is running on caged ball bearings on the inside there. Very smooth action. From number 3 to number whatever this is, 123, this action has been excellent. This confirms ×3 that Ian knows how to set a detent and create a very smooth and reliable action and a very good flipping action. The flipper tab is the upswept type, not dissimilar to the Koenig Arius that I brought out earlier. I don't like these if they are sharp. Some of these flipper tabs that are upswept are sharp. I'll bring out an Elijah Isham Omen for an example. This is not sharp, but some of his original designs were sharp and they're not ideal. It's still not perfect, but this one is rounded and comfortable. And what happens is when you get one of these that are comfortable, the geometry of it allows for a very nice action, very aggressive flip, so I really appreciate that. Combine that with very smooth ball bearings and a very nicely tuned detent, and you get an excellent action. Oh, and a very thick and heavy blade that likes to fly out of the handle. Lockup is ridiculously early at like 3%, but it is a very sturdy lockup. I just kind of tested it very lightly and it did not disengage. These guys talk all day about the math of the lock interface and how little they can have with how many pounds of force it's going to take, and they know what they're doing. Ian knows what he's doing when it comes to this lockup. Very, very nicely done. Let's go ahead and talk about these beautiful handle scales right here. This is done in Timascus right here, white Timascus. Let me get my grease off of there so you can see it in full 4K glory. Beautifully done Timascus. So Timascus, if you're not familiar, is 2 or 3 different types of titanium that are forged, welded together, folded over, and bent and twisted and folded and welded and forged again. And then you get these interesting patterns. When you take a blowtorch to that finished material, it creates differentially colored effect like this, and it's really, really beautiful. On this knife, it is very nicely done. This is some Alpha Knife Supply Timascus. I couldn't tell you the exact pattern. The back here is done in an anodized titanium. He had this on the CMF 16. It's a color that looks almost like a denim color with the stonewash finish. I really like that. It's a user finish, and the Timascus clip right there. There's no internal milling. All of this is made by hand. It just should be said, all of this is done by hand. He does the pivot collars, which are presumably titanium and could be anodized later. He does a floating backspacer. This one is not anodized yet and may turn into Timascus by the end of the build. Again, this is a work in progress. But it's really, really great to get to show off another one of Ian's knives. Really, this is special to me because I got to hang out with Ian at the Blade Show. I had dinner with him one night. I had some drinks with him, and we got to talking and having a good time. And so it's cool to know that somebody that I know on Instagram primarily, who's a cool guy who talks to me about knives, is in reality a very cool guy and a lot of fun to be around. And so that makes his knives extra special. I will end up with one of his knives one of these days when I can really afford to do what I want to do on it. And really happy to see his progression. So happy to share this knife with you guys. Thank you to Josh at Echo Does Knives for allowing me to get this on camera. Thank you to Ian for sending this knife through me, and it's really nice to meet you and know you, man. And thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and click like and subscribe down below. Go and check out Ian's work at CMF Metalworks on Instagram. Check out my stuff at Dr. Frunky. Check out Josh at Echo Does Knives. I'll leave some links down below. Leave some comments. And as always, guys, this is Dr. Frunky saying, take care.